Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the historical books of the Bible. Now, what are the historical books of the Bible? Well, there is 12 historical books in the Old Testament, and those historical books are Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. Those 12 books in the Old Testament are the historical books of the Bible. They all tell and document historical things about the Israelites, a bit about the world around them, and they just show how entwined the Bible is with history. But how do we know that those accounts in the Bible are true? Well, we've actually found things in archaeology that show us that what was said in the Bible is true because it's either in other kings' records, like the Babylonians had records that account that the Israelite people were there during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, and there are the Dead Sea Scrolls. Those are very historically impactful and show that what the Bible said about history is right. And there's other things like that just show us how accurate the Bible is. And one of those discoveries that I would like to highlight today is the Moabite stone. Now, what is the Moabite stone? It's a giant black basalt stone that was actually found by an Anglican missionary named Frederick Klein in 1868. And it was originally a monument that he found in Jordan. And it has 34 lines of text written in Moabite that tells the same event as 2 Kings, except it's from the perspective of Mesha, king of Moab. So at that time, Mesha was the king of Moab, and the Moabites were under the oppression of the Israelites. There was a king in 2 Kings 3 who oppressed them and was forcing Mesha to give him 100,000 sheep and the wool of 100,000 rams, and he ended up dying. And when he died and his son took over the throne, Mesha saw an opportunity, and as the king rallied his people to come with him and fight back against the Israelite oppression. And that is what the Moabite stone talks about. That is the account that it gives. I'll hold up here a side-by-side comparison of 2 Kings 3 and the Moabite stone. So in 2 Kings 3, verses 4 through 6, it says, "Now Mesha, king of Moab, raised sheep, and he had to pay the king of Israel a tribute of 100,000 lambs and the wool of 100,000 rams. But after Ahab died, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. So at that time, King Joram set out from Samaria and mobilized all Israel." Now, the Moabite stone says, "I am Mesha, son of Chemosh, king of Moab the Dibonite." It goes on to say, "Omri was the king of Israel, and he oppressed Moab for many days because Chemosh was angry with his land. And his son replaced him, and he also said, 'I will oppress Moab.' But I was victorious over him and his house, and Israel suffered everlasting destruction. And I built the temple of Baal Meon, and I established there the sheep of the land." Now, if you go on and read 2 Kings 3 all the way through, it talks about how, I lost his name, I'm sorry. It talks about how Joram mobilizes all of Israel, and he asks Judah for help because at this time Israel and Judah had split, and he also calls on another king to help and bring in a bigger army. And they go, and they actually defeat the Moabites. The Moabites think that those 3 kings have fought each other and everybody's dead, and so they go into the camp thinking that everybody's dead and they're not going to have to fight anybody. And then they get jumped and lose. So I'm not entirely sure what the Moabite stone is saying about him being victorious, because that's not what it says in 2 Kings 3, but it still goes to show that 2 Kings 3 is right. So I hope this helped you understand the historical books. Bye!